We speak a lot to doing the work. What does doing the work actually fucking mean? We hear it everywhere in social media, we hear it in posts, we see it in blogs, we hear people speaking about it in the personal development world, in the personal transformation world, on stages. You've got to do the work. Well, what does doing the work actually mean? To me, it means just dealing with our humanness. It means not ignoring the stuff that hurts us. It means that we're dealing with our pain and we're being willing. We're actually willing to do the work. We're willing to go there. We're willing to see ourselves. We're willing to say, you know what, fuck, I made a mistake, I'm wrong. We're willing to persist when it gets difficult. We're willing to be honest with who we are. We're willing to love ourselves fully. We're willing to walk through the fucking mud if we need to, and we're willing to celebrate all of ourselves. Doing the work for me means being willing to be human in all of our humanness. I don't think it makes any sense for us to think that we're going to live this perfect life. You know, society's constructed this ideal about what it means to be human, right? And what it means to be human is you have to be this perfect expression of a person. You know, we put these very high standards on ourselves, very, very high standards of what life needs to be like, what it needs to look like. And if we're out of place, we feel scared, we feel fearful because we're out of that out group and we feel that we're isolated, we're being abandoned, maybe even rejected. We're not appreciated for who we are. We're not meeting those fundamental needs, and it pushes on us, right? And so, man, this doing the work is essential for every single one of us that are gifted and privileged to think about something outside of just basic human survival. Like, think about that. There are the 2.5 billion people at least that are displaced from food every day. Minimum 2.5 billion people. Think about that. The fact that we are able to speak about these things, it makes us privileged, and we can hear these things and say, what does it mean to do the work? The fact that we can think about, oh, I can contemplate my psychological, emotional, physical, sexual trauma that I experienced as a young child because I have the space to do so. I have the access to resources to do that. Think about that privilege. That, for me, that is doing the work, is honouring the space that we live in, honouring the access to resources that we have, the support that we have, the wisdom, the knowledge, the ability to lean on people that have tools and have wisdom and have knowledge and heal our pain. That's doing the work. But being willing, if we had to just draw it down and surmise in a very simple way, it's being willing to look at our stuff, all of our stuff, and say, you know what, I'm going to face this. I'm quote unquote wrong today. I did something that was out of alignment. I made a choice that wasn't healthy for myself and wasn't healthy for others. And I'm going to own that. And I'm going to not just only take ownership and responsibility from it, but I'm going to grow from that. I'm going to eat humble pie. And what that means is that I'm going to step into humility and know that I'm not perfect and I fucked up, I made a mistake. I do it all the time. I'll give you an example. This is a good one. So yesterday, my beautiful wife says, I got you a colonic because I've been wanting a colonic for a while. I haven't had one for a few years, and I just finished a 6-day fast, a water fast, just on water, which I planned to do 7. That's a long story. I ended up cutting it at 6 because I was at a Joe Dispenza. I'll tell you the story. I was at a Joe Dispenza retreat, and I thought to myself, if I go into 1,100 people, if I go into this fast in a water fast, I'm going to be more open to receiving. Just being open to receiving the information, because we're doing a lot of meditation, 4.5, 5, 6, 7 hours a day of meditation. The longest one we did was 4 hours and 40 minutes. It was amazing. And so I thought I'd be an emptier vessel. Now I was experiencing cathartic experiences, going to different places. My consciousness was definitely shifting, but I wasn't having experiences like I thought I maybe would. And I didn't have a rigid expectation, but I don't know, and I was tired and fatigued. And then I was having a conversation with Christine, and she said, well, maybe because there's 1,100 people here, and I've never really fasted like that with that many people. Usually it's been more insular and isolated. Maybe there's a lot of energy flowing around, a lot of people in pain, expressing their pain, and my body maybe didn't feel safe because, I wasn't sleeping I was sleeping well, but my body would keep waking me up and saying, hey, go look for food. It's a neurological thing, right? Somatic, it's an old evolutionary somatic thing that we have within us, that if we're not eating, we need to go eat. And so maybe my body felt unsafe. So I thought, okay, I'll have some fruit, have some juice, and let the body know that it's safe and it's good. And the moment I did that, actually, I started experiencing deeper states of consciousness, which was interesting. So that was only the last day and a half. Anyway, I digress, right? And so what I was getting at was that I was in this place with Joe Dispenza, and so we come back from that, and I thought, I'll have a colonic, perfect, right? This is important. And so I get a colonic, and this lady, she's more than just a practitioner in colonics. She's been doing this for 25 years. She's an OG here in LA. I'm at the LAX now, airport now, on the way to North Carolina, and I had this done yesterday morning. And she's an intuitive and a guide and a healer as well. And it was amazing insight and conversations that we were having with each other. And we were talking about this notion of perfection, but we were talking about just being fucking human, and that it's okay to know who we are and understand ourselves, and also feel ourselves through the world, and sometimes make choices that aren't the healthiest. Now I'm closing the loop here on something, right? And so and the loop that I'm closing is the example that I'm giving of me not being perfect. And so I'm sitting there, basically naked, with this tube up my rectum, and getting flushed out. And as I'm flushing out, I'm having these realizations that, you know, I've been agitated lately. I've been a little bit short. Christine and I have been traveling intensely. We've been displaced from our home for a number of months. We've been living in each other's pockets. I haven't had my space as much as I normally would. She hasn't had her space. And so there's been some agitations and frustrations there. We've been intense in our travel and organising a new home and all these amazing things that we get to do, and developed nation problems, so to speak. And it's just also been a lot whilst maintaining clients and serving people, being of service and up-leveling my own self. And it's just, and this isn't a complaint, this is just, the human condition can only also handle so much as it's up-leveling, right? As we're up-leveling ourselves, we're learning to take on more, take on certain experiences in a different way. Like, it is an adjustment period, and so we're in that adjustment period together. So we're sort of a little bit like that, and I've noticed that I'm reverting to old habits, old patterns of pushing away and being harsh and protecting myself and being agitated, and my inner child is feeling alone and feeling isolated and not feeling connected. And so it's my opportunity, and I have to give myself permission, but it's my responsibility to do the fucking work. And what that means is, do I want to continue being nasty? Do I want to continue being mean? Do I want to continue being short and agitated and not connected to my wife and to myself, and allow old patterns of survival to run me? Or do I want to do the work, be more mindful in the moment, be proactive, nurture, not be reactive, nurture that little boy, because it's that little boy that's being agitated with all the pressure that he's feeling and experiencing. And because he's feeling that pressure, it's influencing and informing my nervous system, and it's telling my nervous system that I'm unsafe. And so I'm reverting back to old entrenched coping strategies that are familiar to me from a child. And I work with this every day. I was telling my colonics practitioner, I do this every day for people. I teach people this, I show people this, I help them to connect to the inner child. We go through the process of unraveling trauma in the past and getting in the present and creating a new nervous system. And I do it for myself, but I've been more reactive as opposed to proactive. And so the insight that I got was, I need to do more of the work. And I wasn't judging myself or being harsh on myself. I just realized in that moment I could be doing the work differently. And again, let's come back to this term, doing the work. Doing the work means being responsible, being autonomous, being sovereign, being accepting of who you are, forgiving of yourself, loving of yourself, knowing who you are. And if you don't know who you are, go on that journey of self-discovery. Doing the work means discovering who you are, being in love with who you are, falling in love with who you are. And if you don't like an aspect of yourself, making the effort to change, to shift, to transform. Doing the work means being willing to change and making effort. Effort's not fucking easy, it's challenging, and that's the whole point. Life is meant to be challenging. Not all the time, it's not meant to be hard, but it's meant to be challenging because challenge helps us grow. My invitation to you is, can you do the work? And does this resonate with you? Does this message resonate? Does this definition resonate? Let me know what your thoughts are on doing the work, and let me know where you could do the work deeper. And Sending you love.